Yes.
Yes. Oh,
Yes, in this case, there's not even a night court scheduled. So
what's that?
this case, there's not even a night court hearing scheduled.
Good, and we'll address it. And then on the other one, we'll address that. Mr. Cho, you want to address bond on the other one too? For Marquise Gooch. Mr. Cho, you want to address bond on yours too? 105 days, 106. We'll do it. We'll get it.
There's not a night court. It hasn't even been scheduled for night court either.
Good. We'll keep it off there.
How's everything going?
All right. This is the officer for position 2.
All right. What's your name, officer? Oh yeah, I remember. How you doing? What's that? No, you can go ahead and swear him in.
You swear to affirm to the testimony that you're about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, said God.
Yes.
State and spell your name for the court, please.
Name is Johnny Wynn, Johnny.
You can put your hand down.
Last name Wynn, Nguyen.
All right, let's see. This is position 4. Bostic is 22 CP 213472. It's Grant Powell, 99 days without indictment. He's charged with entering an auto or a motor vehicle with intent to commit a theft or a felony and theft by taking. Right now, it looks like there is a, and we'll address bond too. Right now, there's a, I want to say it's a $10,000 good bond as of October 26th. All right, go ahead, Mr. Pennington.
Yes. Morning, Officer Wynn. Where are you employed? How long have you been employed there?
For approximately.
Okay. And what are your duties with the Atlanta Police Department?
I patrol the city streets of Atlanta, so on.
Okay. And are you post certified?
Yes.
Were you post certified on October 25th, 2022?
Yes.
Hold on, Ms. Sims, you can hear okay? Okay, all right, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Did you become aware of Grant Powell on that date?
Yes.
How did you become aware of Grant Powell?
Yeah, I want to call about.
Okay, and so after you received that call, what happened next?
I received a call, I arrived on scene, and when I arrived on scene, victim and Mr. Powell were in the same area, and Mr. Powell was on the ground, standing behind the back, waiting for him.
Okay, and when you received this call, were you advised? What were you advised, or were you advised anything about what to expect when you arrived?
I was advised in remarks that there was a male inside of the truck or a vehicle, and it's not supposed to.
Okay. So you were advised this, and then you arrived, and you found Mr. Powell. Can you repeat that? How you found Mr. Powell?
I found Mr. Powell on the ground, standing on the back.
Okay.
Waiting, I guess, to be released.
Okay. And so after you arrived to see Mr. Powell on the ground with his hands behind his back, what happened next?
I went to detain Mr. Powell, and I investigated further.
Okay. And you did detain Mr. Powell at that point?
Yes.
And then as far as your investigation, what else did you learn?
I learned the victim stated to me that when he first came out of his house, he saw a lit up candle inside the truck.
Okay.
And then he lit a console, I believe. But there was nobody inside the truck at the time, but there was mess all inside the truck and food items that did not belong to him. He had to take his, I believe, his child to school that day. So he tried, and he was late. So he lit up a candle, took the child to school, came back home. When he came back home, he went inside, and then 30 minutes later, come back out to investigate further about his car, and he found Mr. Powell laying inside the back seat of the car. And when Mr. Powell exited the vehicle and started running, the victim chased Mr. Powell. Mr. Powell let out a wallet out of his pocket and threw it. And that's when the victim got the wallet and also kept chasing the victim with Mr. Powell. Mr. Powell surrendered and lay on the ground. And that's when 911 was called. I arrived.
Okay. And this wallet, was there any significance to this wallet?
Water, the water. The wallet was a Dior wallet and it belonged to the victim. However, inside the wallet, it had Mr. Powell's, I believe it's EBT card with his name on it.
Okay. Did the victim, and what was the victim's name? Do you?
Victim's name was Mr. Levi Warner.
Okay. Did, so Mr. Warner stated that was his wallet, correct? Is that, okay. Did he advise, where he had last seen that wallet?
He advised that he left it in the car,
Okay.
but that was when he last seen.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And you stated that it also had some of Mr. Powell's, it had Mr. Powell's EBT card, is that correct?
Yes, there was an EBT card and also there was a receipt showing items that were bought with the EBT card, and those items were found inside the vehicle.
Okay. Okay, so after you, after Mr. Warner told you this, did you learn anything else?
No, I don't think I've heard anything else. There was a book bag, a green book bag that belonged, we believe belongs to Mr. Powell, but it didn't belong to the victim. The book bag was inside the vehicle. And when I read Mr. Grant Powell's Miranda rights report question, he advised the book bag, sometimes his items are in it, and sometimes he believes it as well.
Okay, thank you. And what was the address you responded to? Do you remember?
Yeah, this was 1048 Claudette Colvin Court.
Okay.
Atlanta, Georgia.
And is that in Fulton County?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember what kind of vehicle it was that,
It was a white pickup truck.
okay. Thank you. Do you see Mr. Powell in court today?
Yes, I see him on the street.
Okay, could you please identify him for the court? You can stand up if you need to.
Everybody remove their mask.
Yes, I see Mr. Powell. He is a white male with a dark blue shirt on and white shirt under.
Okay. Let the court know for the record that the witness in this case has identified the defendant, Grant Powell.
So reflected.
No further questions for this witness, subject to redirect.
Cross?
Good morning, Officer Wynn. You responded to, trying to find the address again. (1048) Claudette Colvin Court. That was the address?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this was again a 911 call from Levi Warner. And just to get this story straight, you testified that Mr. Warner came out in the morning, took his car, took his kid to school, came back, and then noticed Mr. Powell inside the vehicle.
Yes, he was inside the vehicle after.
All right. But there were signs of someone being inside the vehicle beforehand?
Yes, so Levi Warner was inside the house. He had an app in his home. I believe he tried to start his car, and it wouldn't let him start up because it said when the doors was open. When he came out, that's when he saw the lit candle inside his car, still burning at the time. And items dispersed everywhere inside the vehicle, but nobody inside of it.
Did Mr. Warner give you any reason as to why he didn't alert anyone that first time he noticed something a little off?
He was late to take his child to school. I believe that day he had to take his child somewhere.
All right. Does Mr. Warner have any household security footage that may have caught footage of the car?
So the complex, not even a complex, it's more like townhomes in that area.
Mhm.
And he was not parked directly in front of where he lived. So he does not have footage, personal footage of his own.
Okay. By the time you arrived, though, did you have body cam footage on? All right, so you captured the whole incident,
Yes.
and Mr. Powell was already on the ground by the time you arrived.
Yes.
Was he about how far away from the vehicle was he?
Not too far, maybe a couple steps away from me.
Okay, so there wasn't, it didn't seem like there was a chase that had happened.
Not when I seen where the truck was.
All right, and as for Mr. Warner's wallet, where was that located?
His Warner's wallet was inside of Grant Powell's pocket.
Okay, it was inside of his pocket when you arrived?
No, it was inside his pocket when during the chase and he threw it. So it was with Levi when I arrived.
Okay, you said during chasing, and then before you said there wasn't really much of a chase. Just to clarify, was there a chase or not?
Can you ask your question again?
Yes. Was there any sign of a chase that had occurred?
According to the victim, there was a chase.
Okay. But Mr. Grant Powell was just a few steps away from the vehicle when you found him.
Yes.
Okay. And the wallet, again, it was Mr. Powell threw it, you said? And how far away from the vehicle was the wallet found?
I don't know.
By the time you arrived, had Mr. Warner already recovered his wallet?
Yes, it was in possession when I arrived.
Okay. So I guess the only corroboration you have about Mr. Powell having thrown or taken the wallet is from Mr. Warner.
Yes.
Okay.
The Powell ET car was also inside the wall.
Understood. Okay. Where was Mr. Warner by the time that you had arrived?
He was right there with Mr. Powell.
Right there with Mr. Powell. Was he holding Mr. Powell down in any way?
No, he was standing.
All right. Did Mr. Powell make any statements to you when you had arrived?
So when I read his Miranda rights, stated to me that sometimes there's items inside this book bag that I found inside the vehicle, and sometimes those items are not in that bag that other people also use. So I only read it with that one question. That's what he answered.
Okay. But he claimed that the book bag was his?
When he said that sometimes his items are in that bag. So,
All right. All right. Thanks, Officer Wynn. Those are all the questions I have.
Any follow-up?
The state has no further questions for this witness. May this witness be excused.
Yes, thank you. Stay safe.
The state submits on the evidence.
You put your hat back on, sorry. It didn't look that bad. All right, looks like you've been up all night, haven't you? All right, come on up. And you're here for,
Yeah, here.
All right.
Hold on a second. No, I just got a copy of the warrant here. Oh, you have a copy of the warrants. Okay.
Marquise
Whatever.
Gooch. Marquise Gooch.
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 Yeah, or you can stay. They're not. Yeah, you can call me.
Oh, hold on a second. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Hold on. I'm sorry. We'll ask him about bond. Sorry. Mr. Rose? Oh. I'm fast. You didn't hear me, right? Okay, hold on a second. He can go. Hold on. You can still sit down there, though, because I know he can sit down, because he can sit down. He's going to fall asleep. Yeah, go ahead with the argument.
No.
Yeah, hold on. You get Gooch in a second. Gooch is next. Go ahead on your argument. Well, he submitted. Go ahead. You said you submitted.
I do have it.
But you said you submitted. All right, go ahead. You submit.
I submit.
Go ahead. What's your argument?
Anyway, yes, Judge, with theft by taking, there's an element of, having reappropriated property without consent. I don't think that there was any testimony or any evidence stating that Mr. Powell did not have consent to be in possession of a wallet. And with that, I think that by taking charge fails statutorily on the elements. Other than intent that the county were in. If there was no that action that can be legally established, I would also argue that would fail at the consequence.
All right, I find probable cause on both. There's a $10,000 bond.
Powell Grant, 33 prior arrests, currently on three separate probations, 2 sentenced on the same day. Burglar, criminal damage to property, theft by taking 2 counts, sentence 5/13/2022, 2 years confinement, 3 years probation, 21 SC 1798550, entering auto theft by taking 21 SC 178489, sentence on the same day, but 3 years probation. And then theft by taking 20 SC 174371. That's a suspended sentence, 90 days confinement, 4 years, 9 months suspended. Open case 20 CP 195377, a theft by taking other felony convictions for at least 4 probation violations and 3 misdemeanors, nothing further.
Mr. Rose, looks like there's a probation violation warrant that was issued by Judge Leffridge on November the 1st, 2022. You want that? It's a 22-000699 PV. All right, go ahead.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Powell is 39 years old. He's been in jail at this point for 99 days. This $10,000 total bond, now the probation violation hold, but still with the $10,000 bond, he's not able to report that he is homeless. Probably surmised by the facts of the case. He's been in Georgia for the past 33 years and was doing kitchen work, working 2 jobs in several kitchens. That wasn't enough to support him. He had to essentially be admitted to Gateway at that point. He believes he's able to, re-enter into Gateway upon being released. But Judge, he just does not have the funds on his bond. So Judge, we would ask that his bond be lowered, if not to the UJR, then to a $5,000 bond, so you can at least see the help of bail assistance program.
Mr. Pennington?
Your Honor, this defendant's criminal history suggests that a bond is appropriate. This current bond appears to have been a generous bond already. The state does understand, though, however, that this defendant has been in jail for 90 days without indictment. So the state just requests a reasonable bond in the discretion of the court. The state Would, however, note that given the defendant's criminal history, the state is concerned about the risk of reoffending, and the state would request a curfew in this case and an ankle monitor.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 1048 Claudette Colvin, CLAUDETTE, COLVIN Court in Atlanta, Georgia. Stay away from Levi Warner, WARNER. Stay out of cars that aren't yours. You're going to have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, except for court, lawyer, medical, and employment. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment, schedule, and the location you'll be working. Is there addiction issues?
The criminal history suggests that
MH.
The criminal history, that may or may not be the case, but the criminal history, there are several arrests for drug offenses. We'll just put it that way.
How about I put that, Mr. Rose, MH or addiction, he can, if you find that he needs to get in that kind of treatment, then he can obviously leave for that. Okay. If he has MH or addiction issues, and sir, it looks like there's a hold, so you've got 48 hours to have that ankle monitor placed on you because there's a probation revocation. I don't know if by chance a hole pops up somewhere else, you'll have 48 hours to report and have that ankle monitor placed back on your ankle, okay? And I'm sure you're probably going to try to get him back into Gateway. All right. And you'll need to get an address. Upon release, you have to give it to the jails exactly where you'll be staying. I think it's, let me see. All right, we'll say 5 and 1. Best of luck to you, sir. All right, now, Mr. Gooch. Thank you, officer. I mean, you can just hang out if you want to. I won't tell.
No, I gotta go.
Oh, okay. All right. What'd you have last night? Anything interesting? No? Pretty quiet night? Ah. You can go ahead and raise your right hand. You swear firm testimony about to give the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
This is going to be position 2, Bostic.
Yeah. I know, but I got to look at.
You want to go back there and talk to him, Mr. Rose?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. I mean, there'll be a lag in between this and the 1 o'clock, obviously, so if you want to talk to him, you can. All right.
But excuses.
Oh, yeah, so this afternoon, sure.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the split calendars work. But, you know, yesterday, I think the morning, I didn't stay for the whole morning, but I imagine it went almost all the way to when the afternoon started. But even though it was 4, you know, we had 4 go, it's just, it had to be 4 that took a long time.
Yeah, I don't know. I usually, if they're here and I can move them, I like them, but.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we also had, it's a mix because I can see today's going to end early. That we also have, I think, when we were having 15 positions or whatever, you know, for a couple of weeks there, we had days where officers were sitting here for, 4 or 5 hours waiting. And
well, you know, the whole thing, I guess if you got a murder, I guess the best thing is take it last.
Yeah.
Because that would go so long.
Yeah.
You know?
And we don't know, like today, like there is a murder on the calendar. If it hadn't gotten indicted, then that one goes for a long time. So.
Does she obviously know it's going to get indicted because she's not here?
I mean, I got the email this morning, so that it's getting indicted. So.
All right. This is position 2, 22 CP 213093, Marquise Gooch. It's got a VGCSA possession of controlled substance schedule 1 or 2 with the intent to distribute. What is this? 111 days without indictment? Or maybe I'm wrong. All right, go ahead, Mr. Pennington.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I swore, man. I'm sorry. Didn't I? Yeah, I swore, man.
Okay.
You can go ahead and do it again. I don't want to take away your thunder.
They swear upon to the testimony that you're about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes, sir. State and spell your name for the court, please.
Officer Point du Jour, DOINT-DU-JOUR, currently employed in the Martin Police Department.
Good morning, Officer Point du Jour. How long have you been employed with the MARTA Police Department?
Approximately almost 2 years.
Okay. And what are your duties with the MARTA Police Department?
I work the plainclothes detail for Martin Police.
Okay. And are you post-certified?
Yes, sir.
Were you post-certified on October 10th, 2022?
Yes, sir.
Did you become aware of a Marcus Gooch on that date?
Yes.
Marquise Gooch, sorry. How did you become aware of Marquise Gooch?
On the 10th of October 2022, at approximately 17:52 hours, while patrolling Garnett Martin Station in plainclothes, I observed a unknown black male pulling a clear bag containing a white flat rock-like substance suspected of cocaine from his right pocket, breaking it, receiving cash for the flat rock-like substance suspected of cocaine. Myself, Officer Bell, and Officer Peters observed the male sell the substance for cash from an unknown black male, which was the buyer. Myself, Officer Bell, and Officer Peters approached the male in the midst of the transaction with our Martin Police badge displayed announcing Martin Police, in which I grabbed his left hand, placing him into handcuffs. The male escorted to the staff room further processing. Search incident to arrest $80.92 was received from him. Also, the black rock-like substance with the cocaine was located in his hand upon us approaching him.
Okay. How did you identify this substance as suspected cocaine?
It was submitted to crime lab.
Okay. But how did you identify it as suspected cocaine?
It was a flat rock-like substance.
Okay. And in your experience, did the substance appear to be cocaine?
Yes.
Okay. And do you have experience with identifying cocaine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And now you say that that you witnessed Marquise Gooch selling the substance to an unknown buyer. Did you ever apprehend the buyer or identify? Not at that.
I was placing him into the hand of the buyer who led the scene.
Okay. And I may have missed it. How much cocaine did you find on Mr. Gooch?
Well, definitely less than an ounce.
Less than an ounce. Okay. Do you have a copy of the warrants?
Yes, sir.
If you could just, to refresh your memory, just review the underlying portion in the warrant and see if that refreshes your memory to the amount of cocaine.
So it said accused unlawfully did selling white flat rock substance suspected of cocaine with intent to distribute quantity of 8.2 grams of cocaine, which is a Schedule 2.
Okay. So does 8.2 grams, is that? Okay. The amount. All right.
Hold on a second. So, Mr. Gooch, I know you think you're whispering, but whisper like inside whisper.
Did Mr. Gooch make any statements to you?
No.
Okay. And where again did this occur?
At Garnett Martin Station, 235 Peachtree Street, Atlanta, Georgia.
Is that in Fulton County?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you see Marquise Gooch in court today? You can stand up if you need to.
Everybody take your mask off.
Could you please identify him for the court if you do?
Yes, sir. It's gonna be a black male with a short haircut and the blue jumpsuit with the white tee underneath.
Okay.
All right, place your mask back on.
Let the court know for the record that the witness in this case has identified the defendant, Marquise Gooch.
Noted.
No further questions for this witness, subject to redirect.
All right, go ahead, Cross.
Good morning, officer.
One, sir.
Point du jour?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how are you doing again?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good. You were in an undercover capacity at this on this incident day.
Yes, sir, plainclothes capacity.
Plainclothes means no body camera.
No, sir.
Besides yourself, there was Officer Peters and Officer Bell.
Yes, sir.
Was there any other officers involved in your case?
No, sir.
Were Officer Peters and Bell in plainclothes as well?
Yes, sir.
And then were there any uniformed officers on scene for this?
No. One officer that came was to transport the mail.
When you were observing the MARTA station this day, were you where were you located specifically?
I was on the top level of the station, but he was observed on the bottom level, which is in clear view in plain sight for me to observe and do the transaction, sir.
Was Officer Peters on top level or bottom level?
All three of us were on top. All three of us watching him do the transaction.
And
The bag was in plain sight upon us watching him.
sure. Is this with are you observing with your eyes, a camera, or
I was observing it with my eyes, sir.
do you have any binoculars or anything like
No, not at all.
that? Did you recover any surveillance video from MARTA for this case?
No, sir.
You said that there was a suspected buyer.
Yes, sir.
What made you believe he was a buyer?
Mail upon us approaching Mr. Gooch in the midst of the transaction, the mail did possess cash in his hand upon the transaction. And Mr. Gooch did possess the the cocaine in his hand.
So there was no actual exchange at that point?
I'm sorry.
There was no actual exchange of cash and alleged drugs at that point?
He did exchange prior, but the mail did continue to do transactions upon our approach. We caught him in the middle of doing another transaction.
How many transactions did you observe?
Two. The first one we observed, the second one we approached.
Are these two different people?
No, sir, it's Mr. Gucci both.
I'm talking about the alleged buyer. Are they two different people?
Yes.
So your testimony is a person came, bought drugs, then came back. How quickly afterwards?
It was a separate subject, sir.
It's a separate subject. Okay.
Second buyer, excuse me.
Was the first buyer ever arrested? Why not?
For further investigation, to see what the mail was doing.
And then the second buyer, was he or she ever arrested?
He took flight upon us approaching and placing Mr. Gucci's handcuffs.
Did anyone follow after the person took flight?
No, not at the time.
You still not whispering, sir?
So you don't have any you did not recover any cocaine from the first buyer, is that correct?
No, I recovered it from Mr. Gucci.
Right, but you're also saying that the first buyer bought cocaine, is that right?
Yes.
You did not recover any drugs off the first buyer?
Not clear my knowledge.
And did you recover any drugs off the second alleged buyer?
The second buyer took flight.
Did you recover any drugs off the second buyer?
The second buyer took flight, sir.
It's a yes or no, and you can explain your answer.
Mr. Gooch, we can hear what you're saying. Mr. Pennington is the prosecutor. I promise you, he wants to hear everything you're saying. Whisper. Yes or no, then an explanation, officer.
Yes, that question, sir.
Did you recover any cocaine off the second fire?
No.
Is it, cocaine or alleged crack cocaine submitted for drug lab testing?
Yes, sir.
And do you know what the result is?
Not to my knowledge.
Besides yourself, are there, any other officers who wrote reports in the case?
I'm sorry, could you repeat?
Sure. Besides yourself, are there any other officers who wrote reports in the case?
That's a negative, sir.
Okay. I don't have any further questions. Thank you so much.
Mr. Pennington,
The state has no further questions for this witness. May this witness be
Mr.
excused.
Cho?
No.
All right, thank you. Stay safe out there. All right, argument. And Mr. Chair, you may want to pull that microphone back down. I think deputy moved it when your client was whispering.
Yeah, I think it's very sensitive.
Sorry. All right, go ahead with argument.
Thank you. The state submits on the evidence subject to rebuttal.
Mr. Cho?
Oh, all right. The defense submits.
All right, we'll go ahead and find probable cause. We'll go ahead and do bond. It's been in 114 days without indictment, and there is no bond as of October the 10th. Pre-trial.
Still not coming up. Hold on a second.
You come on up, off. You can't whisper. You're on Shields, right? Yeah. Okay, we'll get it safe. We're just waiting on Bostic, Mr. Cho.
Oh, yes, sir.
I think she's enamored with your new haircut, kind of threw her off.
Great clips, Judge. It's the pre-trial officer. She's someone in court, and it's for to hear your criminal history.
Okay, well, if you have it.
Preliminarily, he's on probation in 2 separate cases. The whole GCIC is not coming up on my computer. Schedule 1 with the intent to distribute 21 SC 179354. Cocaine with the intent to distribute, obstruction, 5 years.
Was that the last 21 SC? There's 2 21 SCs.
One is 21 SC 179354, 21 SC 179353.
Yes, I mean, that sounds like I had 3 separate cases where he's on active probation, but it's possible 2 of those 21 SC cases are running together. So.
Okay. That it, Bostic?
Finally came up with 25 total arrests. Nope, it's not moving. Go ahead, Judge. I'm sorry.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Cho.
Thank you, Your Honor. 114 days, no bond.
Yeah.
Great clips, Judge. It's the pre-trial officer. She's someone in court, and it's for to hear your criminal history.
Okay, well, if you have it.
Preliminarily, he's on probation in 2 separate cases. The whole GCIC is not coming up on my computer. Schedule 1 with the intent to distribute 21 SC 179354. Cocaine with the intent to distribute, obstruction, 5 years.
Was that the last 21 SC? There's 2 21 SCs.
One is 21 SC 179354, 21 SC 179353.
Yes, I mean, that sounds like I had 3 separate cases where he's on active probation, but it's possible 2 of those 21 SC cases are running together. So.
Okay. That it, Bostic?
Kind of came up with 25 total arrests. Nope, it's not moving. Go ahead, Judge. I'm sorry.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Cho.
Thank you, Your Honor. 114 days, no bond. I will note that there is a 19 SC 172451. Looks like a VOP, no bond, and 21 SC 179354 with no bond. I believe Attorney Howell is trying to find a program for Mr. Gooch that's pending. There's a February 24th court date. He does have a good address in 777 Norwood Road in Atlanta, Georgia. He's a lifelong resident of Atlanta, Georgia. He's 41. He was previously working before his incarceration, but is indigent. And Judge, there may be something worked out with MADRC as well with Ms. Howell's cases. Notwithstanding that, Your Honor, we'd ask the court to consider reasonable bond in this case, or UJR, so that the state can accuse, and he would still be on a no bond status for the other cases as well.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Pennington.
Yes, I mean, the state here just knows that the defendant is already on probation for multiple cases involving the possession of cocaine with intent to distribute. So the risk of reoffending here, 2 of those cases are 21 SC cases. That looks like they were probably adjudicated together, but the risk of reoffending here is very, very high. This defendant, in addition to those active probation cases, the defendant also had a conviction for possession of cocaine back in 2015. So the state understands that this defendant has been in jail with no bond for over 90 days, isn't entitled to a bond, but the state would just ask for a reasonable bond, which reflects the defendant's risk of reoffending. The state would request here no drugs, random screens, and whatever other conditions the court deems appropriate.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 235 Peachtree Street and all MARTA stations. All MARTA stations, bus stops, any MARTA property. If you see a bunch of people standing around, they have on MARTA t-shirts, sure, that's MARTA property. So don't go close to it. If you see one of those barriers that says MARTA property, that's MARTA property. I'm pretty sure now you are probably permanently banned. And when you were arrested, I'm sure they let you know you were not supposed to be on MARTA property. $8,000 good bond. Sir, you're going to have, you're not going to be able to get out anyway. You've got 2 holds out there. So best of luck to you, sir.
Those 2 cases I was showing you about.
All right, now we got Akira Shields. What is guess now we just need a lawyer. Shields, but we need a lawyer for Mr. Shields, unless Mr. Cho's gonna handle it.
Oh, I thought you already got it.
Huh?
I thought you were okay. Okay, never mind.
Gave you one today, but
Well, if we need a few minutes, that's fine. Looks like Mr. Houston's not here anyway. We don't have a lawyer yet.
Yeah, we had to go with female.
Back and talk to you, okay?
Go ahead. You were last night? Go ahead and doze off a little bit.
Okay.
Mr. Cho, are you gonna handle Mr. Houston's case?
Yes.
Oh, you are? Okay. They just gotta get the female. Sorry, I tried to take the ones, but point is yours. I remember he worked mornings too, so we'll get you out of here as quick as we can. Hey, I've worked morning watch, so if you go to sleep, we'll wake you up. How about that? We'll wake you up for the good parts.
I think that was all good luck waking me up after I go to.
Exactly. But there was one courthouse when I was a cop we went to, they had like a lounge room, with like recliners so that cops could go in there and sleep waiting on their case. Fantastic.
That is nice.
Yeah. They should
Makes a lot of sense.
They should do that here, Do we have so many, but now we got so many drawers. I guess there's not enough room for anything except a drawer. Let's see. Huh? Okay. Let's see. And then we got 6 at 1 o'clock. Do you know if all those are going to be here or at 1 o'clock yet, or no idea yet?
Norwood's going to, 88 Norwood's going to be here
Oh,
in
okay.
the afternoon. So
How's Mr. White doing? I heard he came
he's
back.
back. He's back. So, and he seems to be doing well. I mean, I know he's got to manage.
Stress.
Yes.
I think we're all in the wrong profession for that.
Yeah. And he worked a lot before and he took on a lot. So it's definitely, it's a significant change for him.
Yeah. I think that's all of us. We all need to take time off. Trust me, I get told that all the time.
The work doesn't stop though.
No, it doesn't. Good gosh. Bostic, you sure you can hold it for the rest of the day? Look at Mr. Cho's new haircut.
Look like we're gonna have some problems. I can't get the part of my computer that opens the GCICs to open.
It sounds like you need Mr. Cho to step away from the camera because it kind of gets you all frustrated.
Oh,
He's
God.
busting all the electronics.
Great clips, y'all.
He got his K-pop cut going and it's just throwing everything off.
You don't want to see me sing or dance. It'll turn people off.
Yeah, I miss sitting next to you while you sit there and doodle, I'm sure.
We'll take a collection.
Never going back to that, are we, Boston?
We'll take up a collection, do some for you to do some K-pop for us, Mr. Cho.
Get negative views, I think. It's paid to not click on the
Negative
video.
views.
What's your last name? Is Officer, Detective, Major, Chief, Deputy Chief, Colonel? What's your rank? Officer, Major, Colonel? What's your last name? Pfeiffer, right? I noticed the resemblance. How'd your hair cut?
I like your cup, Judge.
Thank you. That place is good, right? They got great brisket.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Have you been there, Bucky's? You had the brisket?
Yeah.
Where is it? Well,
It's a long ways away from here, wherever it is.
they're starting to build one down near Auburn.
I think there might be one up there near Cartersville or something.
Yeah, there's one up 75. There are a few, but the next one they're building is down there right there at the exit where you get off to go to Auburn, to the university. There's one up, above Cart.
Being like the biggest gas station
It's
convenience.
huge. They got a restaurant. Their brisket in there is amazing. Trust me, it's always packed.
I mean, it's like 5 times bigger than any other gas station, and
They got everything you need. I mean,
it's crazy.
it's crazy. But there's never really a line for gas because they have so many pumps.
But they have a bunch of stuff inside too.
Yeah,
Like,
a bunch of tchotchkes and stuff. But
I
Yeah.
went to the one in Huntsville that they just recent opened up in November, and this is just off hearsay. That's supposed to be the biggest one in the United States so far. They still building on because they just opened it up.
you need to do this.
Kind of chill. Good morning.
Yeah. All right. This is number 322 CP 213-094. Akiria Shields, 114 days without indictment. He got possession of firearm by a convicted felon and certain acts or transit prohibited ordinance. Let's see if there is a bond. Let's see. I should have had that pulled up. And we'll address bond too. Right now, there is a $15,500 good bond. You want to for the officer and get deputy? There you go. All right.
They swear or affirm to the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, says you got. State and spell your name for the court, please.
Officer Danielle Pfeiffer, PHIFR, Police Department.
Good morning, Officer Pfeiffer. How long have you been employed with the MARTA Police Department? Okay, and what are your duties with the MARTA Police Department?
To ensure the safety of passengers, ensure the safety of customer service.
Okay, and are you post-certified?
Yes, sir.
Were you post-certified on October 10th, 2022? Did you come in contact with, or do you become aware of an Icaria Shields on that date? How did you become aware of Icaria Shields?
While patrol of our station, which was an HE home station, I saw a black female therapy by walking behind a paid patron entering the station without paying her fare.
Okay. And is this HE home station, is that in Fulton County? Okay. So after you saw this patron walking in without paying a fare, what happened next?
Well, I separated her from the gentleman that she gave me with. I asked her something against the wall, and I asked her for my ID, but she did produce at least part, but she did not produce.
Okay. And then what happened next?
I proceeded to issue her a citation, so I ran her information on NCIC and also GCS and see if she had any active warrants or she had any over warrant suspensions, and she did come back with an active warrant out of Fulton.
Okay. So after you found that she had an active warrant, what action did you take next?
I placed her in handcuffs and escorted her to the staff room so I can process her.
Okay.
Was that one?
Okay. And what happened after that?
While in the staff room, before I even touched her, I said, do you have anything on that I need to know about? And she stated to me that she had a gun. And I asked her where was the gun. It was in the satchel, which was wrapped across her chest in the camouflage satchel. So I removed the satchel and found a 9mm handgun with one bullet in the chain.
Okay. Okay. And then, so after you found this gun, you did later issue a warrant for possession of firearm by convicted felon. How did you come to the determination to issue that warrant?
Well, once the information came back that she was wanted out of Fulton County, and then once I found the gun, I had to run the gun to see if the gun was stolen or anything, but I also had to do, we call it a 29 check on the person to see if they are convicted felon. So once it came back, they sent it to my email that she was convicted by the Fulton County Superior Court by taking as of 1/27/2020.
Okay. Okay. So after that, what happened next?
I continued on with my paperwork. I processed her, and she was transported to Fulton County Jail.
Okay. And did Ms. Shields make any statements to you?
I believe she did tell me that the gun was her mother. She didn't know that she took the gun from her mom. Other than that, no.
Okay. No further questions for this witness. Wait, one more question. Sorry. Do you see Icaria Shields in court today?
Everybody remove your masks.
Yes, Judge, yes, sir, so to speak, if you know, to my left with the braids in the hair, with the blue jumpsuit with the white t-shirt on.
Okay. Let the court note for the record that the witness in this case has identified the defendant, Icaria Shields.
Noted. You can place your mask back on.
No further questions for this witness, subject to redirect.
Go ahead, Mr. Cho.
Thank you. Good morning, Officer Pfeiffer.
Good morning.
Were you in plain clothes or in uniform on the incident date?
Uniform.
Okay. And was your job that day solely to patrol HG Home Station?
Yes.
Okay. When you saw the alleged fare jumping that occurred, was that captured on your body camera footage?
It should be on my body camera footage.
Okay, and has your body camera footage for this incident been downloaded and saved
Yes,
and then uploaded and sent to the state for discovery?
yes, it should be there.
Okay. Were you working with any other officers that day on this case?
No,
Okay. And did you obtain any surveillance footage from any of the MARTA cameras in regards to this case?
no.
Where did you stop Miss Shields at the station?
As soon as she came through the barricade, I told her to get to the side.
And then what happened next?
When I stopped her,
Yes.
she complied, she walked to the side. I separated her from the gentleman that she followed behind. And then I asked her for her ID as well as the police car to see if she even had one, if she had fare. But she couldn't produce the police car, but she did give me her receipt.
Okay. Did you use that ID to do a background check at that point?
I did call it in because I knew that I was gonna issue my citation for fair vision.
Okay. What made you stop from just issuing a citation for fare evasion in this case?
Well, nothing stopped me from issuing. She still got the citation. It's just under certain acts of transit. It's just, it encompasses the fair vision, so she still got it. It just happened that she came back with an active warrant. Why? She just wasn't given a citation and release.
I see. And what was the active warrant for, if you don't mind?
It was, the active warrant was for. I'm not sure what the active warrant was for, but I do have a warrant number.
Sure.
Warrant number is gonna be 19 Sam Charlie 167-155, and it was dated 01/21/2021.
Okay. You did not have any issues of physical violence with Ms. Shields,
No.
and she was cooperative with you?
Yes.
She willingly walked to the holding area with you?
Yes.
The gun itself was, you said, found in a bag, correct?
Mhm.
Was there anything else in the bag that showed that the bag belonged to Ms. Shields?
No, just that it was just on her. It was wrapped around her body, and she stated that she knew that the gun was in the bag. She told me.
Okay. You did a check on the gun and the check came back negative, is that right?
Yes.
No reports of it being stolen or no other issues with the gun, correct?
No.
Gun was legal, basically?
Yes.
Okay. You didn't find any other drugs or contraband on Ms. Shields, is that right?
No.
Okay. Did you ever speak with Ms. Shields' mom to confirm whether the gun was hers or not?
No.
Is there any recollection on your part about Ms. Shields trying to pay the fare with cash at the machine?
Possibly.
Okay, can you describe what your recollection is of that?
She probably could have mentioned that, oh, I'm gonna go pay, but at that point in time, the opportunity to pay is on the other side.
Okay. Did you ever see her trying to put cash into the machine for the fare and that it rejected the cash from the machine?
No.
Okay.
But if so, I was standing on the concourse, she could have asked for help. She could have picked up the white information phone. There's other options besides entering somewhere where you know that you have to pay without paying.
Understood. And she explained to you she was having difficulties with the machine after she was detained?
Possibly.
When you say possibly, do you mean you don't recall, or that it's on body camera and you don't remember the exact quote? What do you mean exactly?
It could be a body camera. I'm not sure if she said she's having issues or not. Whether she's having issues or not, she took it upon herself to enter into a location she knew she had to pay for. And I was in clear view in the same exact highlighted uniform that I'm wearing now. So she could have asked for help.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Anything else?
The state has no further questions for this witness. May this witness be excused.
Yes. Anything else, Mr. Joe?
No.
Yes. Thank you. Stay safe out there. Get some rest.
The state would just ask this court to take judicial notice of a prior Fulton County conviction, 19 SC 167155. That was for robbery by sudden snatching. That is also the same number that the officer here gave for the warrant number in this case.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Joe?
Judge, we will submit on the evidence.
All right. Find probable cause on both cases. Right now, there's a $15,500 good bond. Pre-trial.
Judge, in regards to Ms. Shields' 9 prior arrests, she's currently on 2 separate probations. She took a first offender in 2018 for theft by receiving stolen property. She has 2 misdemeanors, one being a battery. The 2 probations is the robbery, 19 SC 167155, sentence in 2020, 1 year confinement, 9 years probation. And then sentence on the same day, 18 SC 161865, theft by receiving stolen property, firearm during. Nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Joe.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Shields is 22. She does have a good address, 30318. It's on Etheridge Drive. She does have ties to the community, including her grandmother, Mrs. Williams. And she went up to the 9th grade. Previous to her incarceration, she was working at Wendy's on MLK as a cook. Your Honor, we understand that there are some other outstanding issues. We would just argue that in this case, there is a bond that is $15,000 for possession of firearm by convicted felon. Judge, Ms. Shields' position, and I would agree, is that is excessive for the allegations in this case. You heard that Ms. Shields was cooperative with police, did not offer any violence. The gun was not a stolen gun. There was no other contraband found. That she did apparently mention to the officer she was having trouble with the fare machine. As the officer testified, she was right in front of them when this occurred. So, Judge, we'd ask the court to consider a reduction of the bond to $4,500. We will defer to the court.
All right, Mr. Pennington.
Yes, Your Honor. The state would just request a reasonable bond in the discretion of the court. The state understands this defendant has been in jail for quite some time without indictment. The state would request, given defendant's criminal history and the fact that defendant's already on probation for multiple cases or incidents, that the defendant have a curfew in this case. Additionally, the state would just like to note that the 18 SC 161865 case also included a conviction for possession of firearm by first offender probationer. So this defendant should clearly have been aware that she should not be possessing a firearm.
All right. What kind of curfew are you asking for?
Your Honor, the state would ask for a 24-hour curfew in this case, with exceptions as the court deems appropriate.
No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 70 Hamilton E. Holmes Drive and all MARTA stations, all MARTA properties. You see a barrier, it says MARTA, that's MARTA property. If you see a bunch of people standing around with MARTA t-shirts on, that's MARTA property. You can't even stop and tie your shoe at a MARTA bus stop. You have to go beyond that and sit on the curb and tie your shoe. You can have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew except for court, lawyer, medical, and employment. You have to provide proof of employment, name of your employer, schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. You have to provide that to the ankle monitoring company and to Mr. Houston, your lawyer, excuse me, so they can supply it to the state. 9,000 and on count one, $250 on count two. Best of luck to you, ma'am. Once again, stay out of off of Marta property. All right, so position one's going to be is going to be up for indictment, right? They're going to indict it because I see
Yes.
Ms. Tevis isn't here. So yeah, Garfield Sewell is going to be indicted on murder and anything. I know I've got Ms. Kidder, you just here early on yours, or did you have an announcement on yours for the 1 o'clock?
No, Your Honor, I'm just observing.
Oh, okay. All right. I guess we'll stand down till 1 o'clock. That's the morning calendar.